So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'll be back in a minute to do a little introduction for today. But first I'm going to ask Trustee Howard to come up and say a few words.
Well, good morning, everyone. That kind of scared me. Well, good morning and welcome back to another year of challenges and successes here at North Idaho College. On behalf of the trustees here at NIC, I want to thank all of you for your efforts in making NIC one of the great learning institutions. Many of you return to a role that you know well. Some of you are just beginning your contribution to the future of our students and this institution. All of you are just beginning a new year of challenges and changes. You know, in my 7 years as trustee, I have marveled at the success of our faculty and staff, at you. And you're facing the challenges that continue to occur in education. Huge swings in student population, financial uncertainty, changes in administration, legislative changes, course changes, and much more. I've heard some describe the changes that occur as moving the goalposts, ever increasing the demands on all aspects of education. Just when you think you've got your arms around it, it changes. But to me, the phrase moving the goalposts implies some kind of cheating. The changes that you face aren't cheating, they're challenges. Many changes are on the horizon. Changes in the way the state contributes to the cost of education, changes in the speed of education, changes in the quality and content of education, changes in the way education is offered and measured, changes in the relationship of education to business and industry, other educational institutions, and our community. Changes will involve acceleration in education and the complexity of education. All of this might seem a bit daunting, but as I look over this group of educators, I see a strong commitment to embracing these challenges. I once heard the expression about facing challenges as you can lead, you can follow, or you can get out of the way. This is an institution of leaders. The trustees have watched with immense pride as you have made NIC an institution admired, honored, and loved by our community. We see in you dedicated educators who have faced change in the past and not simply embraced it, but have pioneered it. Education is all about change. We embrace it, and we teach others to embrace it. The trustees look forward to your making another great year at Idaho. Thank you very much for all that you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. I also want to recognize, I know we have at least one other trustee here this morning. Brad Murray. Brad, you want to wave to folks? You know, last year when I got in front of this group, my first comments was I'm going to take some time to try to figure out who we are, who you are, get to know you. And last year was an incredible learning year for me. And probably too much learning to even give you a little synopsis of that. But there are a few things. One thing I learned clearly is how much all of you give to change the lives of the people who come to us. You know, I like to share when I get out in public that I can't talk to a group of people. When I talk to folks, I say, you can put your hand on just about any student's shoulder here, and you're going to have a story. A story about maybe how difficult it was for them to get here, what they overcame to be here, what they're overcoming to continue to be here. And a lot of them feel like imposters. They don't even think they belong here. And yet we somehow come together, whatever our role is here at this institution, and we help, sometimes with hidden hands, guide them through the institution and on. And many of you have heard me say when I get in front of groups of people, I like to abbreviate our mission by saying, we're in the business of creating hope and opportunity. And it's really the truth. And I actually have I have a new abbreviated mission statement based on some work I did this summer. We did this summer with the PC. So now not only do I say we create hope and opportunity, but we create success stories. And all of you are part of that, and I thank you so much for everything that you've done and everything that you're going to do as we get started this fall semester. A couple things I did learn thematically that we spent a lot of time talking about as we got out of the last academic year involved planning and enrollment. And so many of you know we have a Dean of Enrollment search that's underway. We have a lot of pretty good pool of candidates that have applied for that position. More to follow on that, and more is going to follow on enrollment and enrollment management and strategic enrollment management as the next few weeks unfolds. As far as the planning position goes, still working on the job description for that, but you should see that soon. So planning, that's what we're here to talk about today. And the planning story, what I heard last year from many, many people all throughout the organization was this longstanding and strong desire to engage in transparent and comprehensive institutional planning. We're a great institution and we have a lot of wonderful initiatives, and we're all definitely moving. We're moving forward, but all these things aren't necessarily or have not necessarily been connected. And I use the analogy of we're both in one's in a car and there's another unit in a car, and we're both kind of moving into the future, and then all of a sudden somebody goes to the right and we're not sure how that's now connected. And as we talked about this, we started thinking, okay, well, what would it look like if we were to try to align all of our institutional planning? And more importantly, what would it look like if we all could agree on what walking into the future would look like? So I asked Sarah Garcia and a group of folks this is about last fall, to look at all of our planning institutionally and just forget everything we know. And if we could just dump everything out and build a whole new structure, a whole new scaffolding of planning of how North Idaho College is going to walk into the future, what would that look like? And I think the group was a little frustrated because I walked out of the room. And it took them some time, but I couldn't be more proud of the work that they did, because what they came up with was a scaffolding that fits, we think it'll fit North Idaho College. And the only guidance I gave them was that it needed to be comprehensive. It needed to connect all of our planning activities so that we're not duplicating effort and we're not spinning out of control in one direction while we're doing something else. But most importantly, and what I want you to understand today, is that it's an authentic process, that it is transparent, that it involves, invites, in fact, insists on genuine engagement from everybody in our college community, and even folks who aren't in our college community. And then most importantly, that it would align all of our planning activities. So today we launch. And again, we didn't know how many of you would be here this morning, but here you are. And we've got a morning planned for you. Sarah's going to talk a little bit about that. Some of the language that you're going to hear and the processes that you're going to be described might sound a little mechanical, might even sound a little bit jargony. But what I really want you to keep in mind is what it really boils down to is that all of us collectively creating a vision of the future that we can see and head toward. It's really that simple. How do we collectively get together and think about what that looks like and start moving toward it? So again, thank you all for joining us this morning. I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to talking with you throughout the morning and at the barbecue later. Thank you, and I'm going to ask Sarah to come up.
Okay, so this morning I was in my office and I said, today's the day. Who's seen Nemo? Finding Nemo? The starfish? Today's the day. The tank is clean. The sun is shining. So I'm really excited. Today is the day. We have been planning for this all summer long, and we're really, really excited that you guys are all here to help us figure out where this college is going. And we sent out questions earlier last week. I think last Thursday we sent out some questions for you to think about. This process that we're doing, this is our first step in our planning process. This is our visioning process. We have a fabulous facilitator who's going to help us through this process, and we're going to talk about what we want. This is going to be a strategic planning process that starts today, well, actually started last year, but that starts with your input today and will lead to a revision of our current strategic plan by next spring. Everything that you say today will be listened to. Everything that we ask you to write down, everything that you talk about, we're going to listen to. And what we're hoping is as we listen, there's going to be some themes that come out that are consistent among this group of people. And that's what we're going to use to try to build our future. We've never done anything. I've been here 15 years. I'm a relatively newbie here. But we've never done anything like this the whole time I've been here. We talk about, we want input, we want inclusion, we want people to be involved, and I don't think we honor that. We mean it this time. We really, really mean it. We want to hear from you. We want to know what you think, because you're the ones who are going to make it happen. When I talked to the Board of Trustees and kind of told them what our planning process looked like, I said, this is the most amazing group of people in the world. Every single one of them is dedicated to the students and to each other. And if we just put that energy in that, all of it going in one direction, we can move mountains. So we're here today to take the first step in figuring out what that direction is going to be. Right? So in the next few weeks, everyone will be invited to a SWOT, a Strength, Weakness, Opportunity, and Threat meeting within your division or your area within the college, your group. And we want everyone to participate. That is an opportunity to talk about what our challenges are and what our strengths are. That information, along with this visioning, along with an environmental scan that's being done, looking at Department of Labor, the school districts, the state of Idaho, everything else. We'll pull all that information together and use it to help us figure out where we want to go. And along the way, we're going to check in and make sure that we heard what we thought we heard. So I'm really thrilled to see all of you here, whether by hook or by crook. For those of you who've been gone all summer, welcome back. For those of you who have been here all summer, if you're anything like me, you kind of dread the beginning of the school year, but you love it because there's so much excitement and energy on campus. The instructors and the students bring us back to remembering why we're here.